Hello everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's MTPredictor video, I'd like to have another look at our VS or volume spike setup, again on a chart of the NQ, but this time on a buy setup. But as usual, let's take a look at our risk disclaimer and remind you that all examples in these videos should be considered as hypothetical. No trades are actually taken, they're just shown for illustration and training purposes only. Remind you there's a risk of loss in trading and investing. Put another way, all professional traders know and understand, but more importantly accept that losses can and will and do unfold no matter what trading approach you take. There always will be losing trades. Right, this is a 3-minute chart of the NQ from last Friday, and the setup I want to be looking at in particular is this VS buy setup here. For you guys who've been following MTPredictor for a while will know we don't trade all our setups blindly, perhaps in the direction of our MTP trend colour. We can see here was blue was up, should be avoiding all these cells anyway, but we don't trade it as a black box system because we know and understand that markets go through cycles. Therefore we don't look to try and trade 100% all of the time, we only look to trade when the picture's clear. How do we define when the picture's clear? Well, for this we go to the higher time frame chart. So on a 3-minute chart you'll be going out to the 15-minute chart. If you're on a daily chart you'll be going out to the weekly. If you're say trading an hourly forex you'll be going out to say the 4-hourly chart. So I just want to take this chart back in time to about here and just show you how we now place our DP, our decision point levels, on our chart in advance. In other words, we're working forward of the market. We're looking to prepare in advance for potential trend change. So for this we select the previous pivot low here, we right mouse click, we do decision point. I'll just take the maximum off because we're going to be just using our typical one. And can you see how this is on the chart in advance? It was before the market even got down there, so it's preparing you in advance before the market got there. If I turn training mode off, you can see how it came down, caught the low of the day there before the market rallied nicely. So how do we make use of this? Well, on the 3-minute chart, if we go back, again perhaps I'll use our training mode again and jump back to say here. Can you see how the market was on the way down here? So you may want to consider these sell setups. If you did, this one wouldn't have worked out, and this one would have only gone down to our higher time frame support. But you wouldn't have been looking at this buy setup here. You see there's a history triangle. You would have been avoiding that because you hadn't reached our higher time frame support level. But the one I want to look at today was the most obvious chart, or the most interesting one, because it was our VS setup, which is where the market makes a high volume move beyond an important psychological high or low, you can see here, and then makes a reversal, in other words fails to follow through. This means that any potential selling in here was not actually selling, it was actually buying by professionals. So amateur traders will be looking to go short here on the break to new lows, but professional traders were now accumulating on long positions looking to go long, and that's what this setup is designed to catch. It's designed to catch a fake out basically. But not any old fake out at any old place, one at a particular area that's reversing at our support level that was on our chart in advance. In other words, we were preparing in advance for this potential reversal level. If I right mouse click over the blue buy bar, we then place analysis on the chart, and then this gives us our potential trade setup. Remember, we can do different position sizing. In this case we're risking less than 2% of a sample $20,000 account, so when we're wrong, and there will be losing trades no matter what trading approach you take, there always will be losses. The losses are kept small, or what we call one risk unit, or -1R. But the reason we like these trade setups is when they go with us, because professional money is pushing the market. If I turn training mode off, you can see you tend to get good strong moves, and that's exactly what happened. Basically the market carried on rallying and it went up and then basically reached the profit target a bit later in the day. But the profit target was a good trade because it wasn't just a good profit in dollar terms, you can see here, but it was a good in what we call risk reward. In other words, this profit here was large in relation to the loss. In other words, it made a profit of approximately or just over 8 times the initial risk. That's why we like these VS setups, because they're in the direction of the professional money. They tend to have big moves associated with them when they go right. So when the losses come through, and there always will be losing trades, the losses are kept small at -1R, but when you get the profits, hopefully you get trades that are large, but not just large in dollar terms, but large in relation to your initial risk. And in this case, it was an 8-hour profit. So as you can see, this was a very good trade setup that allowed you to catch the low there very nicely and catch the rally a bit later in the day. This also came in as well with our MTP trend color. You can see because as it came down into this low, the MTP trend color was grey to show you that you were in the area of or in an area where there was a possible reversal. As the market started to rally, it then turned blue to help confirm the uptrend. That's why you wouldn't be considering any of these potential sells up here, as I said earlier in the video. So a good example of our VS trade setup that caught a very nice trade off the very bar of the low of the day there on Friday that allowed you to capture the market as it rallied through the afternoon and allowed you to have the potential for a profit of approximately 8 times the initial risk. So another good example of our VS trade setup, this time a long trade setup again on the NQ.